to the closing night performance of the Enda Walsh Project. That'll be 3 plays by Enda Walsh right in a row. They last an hour and 45 minutes with no interval, so I hope you already used the toilet. Please take this moment to turn off your mobile phones. Just so you know, the door through which you entered and the door straight out the back are your 2 emergency exits, in case we could use them. Anyway, other than that, please enjoy the show.
Seemed right that it'd be the anniversary. Seemed almost too perfect that today would have to be the day. The same day a year on from when you first saw her. How ordered it all was.
How simple and true and right.
How simple and true and right. Like the very first time you saw her, taking her drink on the park bench. Like you gave her life somehow.
Like she just existed from that moment on.
Right. And you imagined her, and there she was, taking her drink on the park bench, looking blankly at those little quacks, neither interested nor disinterested. Just blanked you. She looked blank to you, John, and that was when you realized this would attract you to her. Her blankness.
That's right.
So by the end of the first week, after following you out of shops and into parks, out of buses, and as you looked at her looking blankly at those little quacks, neither interested nor disinterested, just blank looking, you decided there and then who she was to you, John. You decided you were looking at
my mother.
Your mother? Haven't we done that before?
Well, I don't know.
I'm sure you've used your mother before.
Really?
Yeah, a little time ago.
Are you certain?
Not certain.
Then just use it! Use it! Carry on!
Your much younger mother, before you were born, the young woman you've been following this past week and was following every week since, she meant this to you.
Yes.
And she may be going about her own life, but what was important to you was that she was your mother to you. Simple. So as you showered that morning, unconnected images and stories, all featuring your mother and father, seemed to follow you about. Trace them seemed to stink up one room, make you move to another.
Nice image.
Thanks.
As a little
boy, you'd be walking early, with a sick stomach, sat across on the soggy cornflakes, while your father droned on about work. Like a 6-year-old boy would care. Like a 6-year-old boy would take any interest in insurance.
I hated that insurance talk, because that's all my father spoke.
And you hated your father.
I hated his fucking guts, Dave!
As much as you hated your father, it was your mother you hated more.
But why?
You'd used this morning to investigate this question. Today being the day it was, it's important to remind yourself of all of the reasons. If you're going to do what you were going to do, you'd have to revisit those terrible moments from when you were a child for one last time.
This is very good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
Really?
Yeah, all this mother stuff, I like it.
Yeah, but you like the priest one too.
Well, the priest version was good, but it's got more truth about it.
Really? Do you think this could be the truth?
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't it?
The exact truth hardly matters, Dave. You joking me?
We're sorry. Then we're searching for what exactly?
Difficult to say, but we're definitely searching though.
We certainly are. No chance of arrest. Should we go for a walk or something? You choke in the fresh air from the outside as to clear your head and spell out those terrible moments in clear, embarrassing details.
Good.
As a little boy, your mother would follow you about in her underwear. The only friend you ever brought home when she's there in her bra knickers while you're playing tiddlywinks in the kitchen. You watch as she presses her crotch against your best friend's arm. You scream. She pulls down your trousers, smacks your bareback side with a coat hanger. Your friend watches this, and later, over hot milk, she calls your friend Prince.
The bitch!
It's a day birthday, but you're dressed as a miniature man at our neighbour's cocktail party in a tuxedo. And your mother's flirting with you and saying to the others,
Cotter is my husband for the evening, and here's my date. Isn't John handsome? Isn't he a hunk?
after about 15 minutes of this, you hide away beneath the stairs with a plate full of sausage rolls and some fizzy lemonade. You sit in the darkness and sing happy birthday to yourself. Until you're hauled up by a man, your mother grabbing you by the neck, placed you in the middle of the room, telling you to sing that song.
Sing that song you sing. The song about the elephant. Sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it. The adults clap me along as my sausage roll belly begins to mix with all that fizz. And it mixes bad. I'm on my hands and knees getting sick of my neighbour's rug. Fuck him! That time I'm at the supermarket, my teenage body jammed into a pair of tennis shorts. And mother's got me by the fish fingers and slapping my legs.
I told you they were here. I told you the fingers were opposite the peas.
Another time, I'm sat on a large tricycle my bitch mother bought me for my 15th birthday. I watched the other boys and girls race up the road on their racing bikes while I made cycle up the centre of the road with mother driving behind. Mother blaring the horn for all to see.
Your mother was this type of woman, John. You cleared your head and focused again on the young woman you've been following this past week. The young woman who'd come to represent your mother to you. Knowing her daily routine, you knew that she'd be in the library right about now.
She'd be there with her books, planning out the week.
You felt no pangs of guilt,
No,
no worry,
never.
no fear as you imagined the library seat empty this time tomorrow. You'd never heard that young woman's voice. That evening, just as you planned it, you talked to her about the lake and the ducks and the wonderful simple life of a duck. You'd hear her voice until you decided not to hear her voice anymore, to keep it forever stuck in the simple words, ducks.
Already in my mind, I've returned home from the park, Dave. I'm inside my flat, neither tense nor calm, Dave. I move about with a glass of wine and feel the carpet and the soles of my feet, Dave. I notice the grass stain in my trousers, the slight tear in my shirt sleeve, and I just feel pleased that no blood has parted me. And it's like I'm reborn somehow. Perhaps yet born. In doing what I did, I've erased the images of my mother from my past. Those wicked stories I've dragged around for all these years. Mother both ceases to exist, forever exist. In the morning, I'll start a new life, Dave. And in the morning, the ducks will find the young woman's dead body in the bushes. It'll be their turn to look blankly at her.
Well?
We'll go again.
Oh, Christ.
From the start, come on!
Again?
You heard?
With what, though?
What do you mean with what?
Well, should I change anything from before?
You mean the details?
Yes.
Details are fine. Mother is not right. She was good, but completely wrong.
Are we getting any closer to who it is we're blaming?
We must be. We've been doing this for quite some time now. We must be.
Unless we're just repeating ourselves.
Let's say we are repeating ourselves. Ever so often. You imagine we're bound to come across some resemblance to the truth, right?
It'll come down to energy, I think.
How do you mean?
Whether we have enough energy to keep on going until we find out who it is we're blaming. I can't be doing this indefinitely, you know.
What are you talking about? I've got a gun. Of course you can.
When I get too tired. What happens then, John? What happens then?
Well, do you feel close to that?
Each time I'm getting closer.
And you'll be worried you'll be too tired to talk.
I'm worried you'll shoot me in the face.
Good.
Have you started to fantasize about when we eventually reach the truth?
What?
I have.
And when did you find the time to do that?
Sorry.
What?
That's where
So we're telling the story!
Sometimes.
You're thinking about a moment of peace when we're supposed to be busy trying to find what might get us there?
Is that wrong?
Well, it's not very diligent, Dave. Strict man would say that's shoddy work practice. Shouldn't you be concentrating wholly?
The brain wanders.
Well, is any wonder it's taking us all this time when you've got your sights on the prize? Stick to the details, Dave. Isn't that what the problem is with people? They've got no concern for the now.
I have concern for the now.
Well, a little more concentration would help.
When I run out of words, what happens then?
Impossible.
Is it?
Well, think about it. It's impossible to run out of words. At least we've got that to be thankful for.
Shit. Do you think I can leave for a few months? Just go for a walk or something?
It seems right to be the anniversary.
Please.
You fucking stupid! Carry on!
Have we had a conversation as to whether we believe there was a bullet in the gun?
I'm not quite sure.
Do you think that there's a bullet in the gun?
I think it's safer to believe there is one.
I probably decided that some time ago.
I expect you did.
I really have to stop sometime, John.
Start.
It seemed right that it'd be the anniversary. It seemed almost too perfect that today would have to be the day. The same day a year on from when you first saw her. How ordered it all was.
How simple and true and right.
So simple and true and right. Like the very first time you saw her, taking your drink on the park bench. Like you gave her life somehow.
Like she just existed from that moment on. Like I just imagined her, and there she was, taking her drink on the park bench, looking blankly at those little quacks, neither interested nor disinterested. Just blank looking.
She looked blank to you, John. Is that when you realised this is what attracted you to her?
Her blankness.
So after following that first evening and next morning afternoon, you started giving her different personalities, didn't you?
That's right.
Like the hundreds of blank people you've been following about the town. And at certain angles, certain lights, she became different people from your past. Your distant past.
Yes.
So by the end of the first week, and after following her in out of shops, and into parks, and on off buses, and as you looked at her, looking blankly at those little quacks, neither interested nor disinterested, just blank looking, John. You decided there and then who she was to you. You decided you were looking at her.
My friend Dave! I decided I was looking at my friend Dave.
The young woman you've been following this past week, and was following every week since. She meant this to you.
Yes.
And she may be going about her own life. But what was important to you was that she was Dave to you. Simple. So as you showered that morning, unconnected images and stories all featuring you and your best friend Dave seemed to follow you about. Traces of them seemed to stink up one room, making you move to another.
As a little boy, I'd be woken early, woken with a sick stomach and sat facing the soggy cornflakes. And Dave already sat there talking to my dad. Sat there dressed in neatness, skin buffed clean and hair parted tidy. And Dad and Dave were talking the insurance talk.
You hated that insurance talk. Because that's all your father ever spoke. And you hated your father.
Hated his fucking guts, Dave.
But as much as you hated your father, it was your best friend Dave that you hated more.
But why?
You'd used this morning to investigate this question. Today being the day it was important to remind yourself of all of the reasons. Can we stop this?
I was going to do what I was going to do. I I'd have to be certain to revisit those terrible moments with Dave for one last time. I took in some fresh air from the outside as to clear my head and began to spell out all those terrible moments in clear, embarrassing detail.
John, please!
Ah! As a little boy, I'd be in my house and Mother would follow Dave around, dressed in her underwear. The only friend I ever brought home, and Mother's in her bra knickers pressing her crotch up against Dave's arm. I scream at Mother, but she pulls down my trousers and spanks my bare backside with a coat hanger, while Dave sat in the corner with a glass of hot milk, smiling and watching and smiling.
That's not true!
It's the day of my 10th birthday. But Dave's at a neighbour's cocktail party, dressed as a miniature man in a black tuxedo, and Mother's flirting with Dave and saying to the others, got rid of my husband for evening, and here's my date. Isn't Dave handsome? Isn't he a hunk? While I'm under my stairs with a photo album, and I'm cutting the head off Dave. Dave! The fuck! That time I'm in the supermarket, my teenage body jammed into a pair of tennis shorts, and I see Dave, had fish fingers with the girl I love. A little sneer on Dave's face, and the girl I love laughing at my tennis shorts. My mind settled for the afternoon. I began to focus again on that young woman I'd been following. The young woman came to represent Dave to me. The young woman who was Dave's old sweetheart, my only love. That evening, just as I planned it,
John,
say it!
That evening, just as you planned it, you talked to her about the ducks and the lake and the wonderful simple life of the duck. You'd hear her voice until you decided to stop hearing her voice. To keep it forever stuck in the simple words of ducks.
Already in my mind, I returned home from the park, Dave. I'm inside my flat, neither tense nor calm, Dave. I move about with a glass of wine and feel the carpet on the soles of my feet, Dave. I notice the grass stain in my trousers, a slight tear in my shirt sleeve, and I just feel pleased that no blood has marked me. It's like I'm born somehow, or perhaps yet born. In doing what I did, I've erased the images of Dave from my past. Those wicked stories I've dragged around for all these years. Dave both ceases to exist, ever exist. In the morning I'll start a new life. And in the morning, the ducks will find Dave's old sweetheart's dead body in the bushes. It'll be their turn to look blankly at her.
Is this the truth? Is this close to the truth?
I can't be sure.
But the truth, it doesn't matter to us, John, does it?
Doesn't it?
The exact truth hardly matters.
Then we're searching for what exactly?
Oh, difficult to say, but we're definitely searching for more than what we have already. It seemed right that it'd be the anniversary. Seemed almost too perfect that today would have to be the day. The same day a year on from when you first saw her. How ordered it all was.
was absolutely the most transplendent.
What was?
Sorry?
You were about to say something, but I interrupted.
I was about to say something about what?
I don't know.
You could make up something.
Well, of course I could make something up, but couldn't you?
I prefer when you do it, Jean.
But I was quite happy the way things were. Just sitting here saying nothing.
Oh, me too.
But you started.
Maybe I wasn't happy.
Maybe you were unhappy.
I might have been. That's a bit strong though. I can't really remember that strong an emotion.
You probably felt it deep inside.
That's quite likely, Jean. You're probably right. Do you know, I think I was unhappy. I'm fairly certain I was unhappy. I didn't show it in my face, did I?
No.
Which is often the way I show my unhappiness. So I probably was unhappy, yeah.
About what?
Oh, where do I start, my God?
Start anywhere you want.
I am full of unhappiness.
You.
I must be. I said it. Or rather, I didn't say it, I just showed it. And then I only said it after you said it. So I'm obviously desperate to share something.
Really?
You picked up on it with your womanly, whatchamacallit.
Intuition?
You can see inside me.
Maybe.
Into my subconscious.
Probably, yeah.
Beneath an exterior of
Passivity.
passivity. Really? Was that the picture on my face just then?
What exactly are you unhappy with, Fergal?
Well, no, that's a bit forward.
I'm just trying to move things towards...
I know what you're trying to do.
So you're not going to share them?
Not the type of sharing you're implying.
The personal kind.
Vulgar, to put a name on it, Jean.
We can't do this forever.
We could give it a bloody good go.
It's exhausting.
Of course it's exhausting, but it's very important.
But why is it important?
Because once we get started, we're on the road to finishing, and once we finish, we're back on the road to starting again.
You'd think we'd run out of things to talk about.
It's beginning to feel like that.
How long do you think we can keep this up? This business of not actually talking about anything?
Not long, unfortunately. My energy isn't what it was. Bloody brain.
Are we Irish?
Yes, of course we're Irish. Insofar as we might be, Jean, I mean, we look Irish. It's a very personal thing, but we are, aren't we?
I think we are.
I am certain we are.
Good if we were something, I suppose.
What do you think would differentiate me from other men if I was indeed an Irishman?
A number of things, probably.
Like what? Come on.
A slightly milky exterior, like you were carved from mash.
Check.
And an ability to swim.
Check.
A masterly use of a foreign language.
Check, check.
A love of the miserable.
For a moment there, I wavered, and may very well have ended up being Flemish. But it's inescapable, isn't it? Insofar as one would want to escape being Irish, it really is inescapable. Oh, the tragedy. Well, we're definitely Irish.
Thank God.
There's no need to bring God into it. I mean, we sit here, and you bring God into it, and suddenly...
What?
Well, there's a lowering. The level of conversation is lowered, and all because of God.
Right.
Is that what you're trying to do, Jean?
Look, you're the one who started talking.
I know.
Initially, it was your words that broke what was previously.
Quite a nice silence. You're right.
We've started talking, and all that can be said of significance is that we're Irish.
And we can't even be certain of that.
What were you going to see in the garden, Fergal?
Oh, no. Wait a minute.
Was it really something transplendent? Were you really about to create something with a transplendent quality?
I'm not ready for that just yet. No, stop it.
This is a very small life, isn't it? Perhaps not even a life without pushing it. I don't really remember how I started all this stuff, but I'm here, and I'm here with you, and somehow we've managed to muddle through it all. But it feels delicate. Don't you think that what we're doing is a very delicate thing? It's not very lasting, is it? We've proved that by starting over so many times, by leaving our homes and our families, by travelling distances, by climbing those stairs and sitting at this desk and just creating these moments. And how did this garden idea develop? Is there even an actual garden, Fergal?
Well, yes, of course. Insofar as there might be a garden, but that's less important.
But how is it less important?
What I'm detecting here is an anxiety, young lady.
Oh, I'm anxious. Fuck.
Which is natural. It's normal. I mean, we've both in the past now and then felt a general lack of purpose.
Right.
I can remember it vividly now, way back, long before you came even. I too worried about whether I was just contributing mush to life.
And what did you decide?
I think I am, but just the same as everybody else.
But us more than other people, surely. What practical purpose are we?
Entertainment.
But are we entertaining?
Well, probably not, but nobody really knows. And that's the beauty of what we do here, Jean. Whether we are or not is not that important. We are proving our existence by making shit up.
You see, that's terrible.
Is it?
To hear it like that, to be reminded of just how
Essential we are?
I feel sick. I think I could actually be sick.
You've never been sick before.
Oh, I want to die suddenly.
Oh, suddenly is the best way to die. You don't want to die gradually, believe me.
Oh my god, this is fucking unbearable.
The garden was transplendent.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Jean?
Yeah. Carry on.
I've been walking this lawn for many years, and I've seen its natural fabric mutate into 1,000 different settings around me. Each garden conjuring up a different tone, a different set of possibilities, a different and differing cast of characters that move about me on a whim, like with the precision of a finely crafted automata. In short, a different garden forms in front of me each day at each separate sitting at this desk right here.
And to me.
From the tufted grass of the housing estate to the luscious lawns of the country manor. And here I am today, Jean, dreaming up this new garden, defining it in a patchwork of bouquets and geometric parterre like some sculpting god presiding over all this bloody nature. I am a Baroque man in control.
Baroque.
Sure, why else would I be fashioned in this elaborate flared coat with ruffled neck and sleeves, caressing my silk stockings as though they were the cheek of a child? And yet, my fellow traveller, there is a terrible consternation in my heart.
And mine.
Un consternation terrible. For sat here on the garden's central fountain, a fountain of such allegorical complexity that it is impossible to decipher its meaning. I am awaiting great news.
About what?
I haven't decided yet.
About love?
Possibly about love.
About death?
Would I be awaiting news of death, sat on a fountain in ruffled sleeves? Seems unlikely.
We'll make up something.
Great news of love, Jean.
Does it involve Cynthia?
It does involve Cynthia.
Then the great news won't come.
Today it will.
You never get that far.
Today the great news will come, Jean.
It won't, Fergal.
As I swing my slender legs off the fountain onto the manicured lawn, my shoulders bowed with worry, the base of my neck weighed down like some old cart horse in need of sustenance. And your great news, Cynthia.
Just stop it. Enough, I can't take it anymore. Sitting here listening to your endless shit. Do you have any idea how stupid this garden business is? To come here, to hear you talk as you do, to fart out story like some chocolate tear, to fill the silence with flam. I mean, holy Christ, Fergal!
Now,
I wake up in the morning with a terrible heartache. I heartache compounded by people going about their everyday lives actually contributing to society. People driving things from here to there, driving people, selling all manner of goods for our consumption and enjoyment, teaching one another. People working in offices and accumulating money for our desperate economy, and to come here and up those stairs and into this room and hear you with your talk of frock coat and ruffled sleeves like any of this fucking shit matters. Isn't it enough that we are? Isn't that the most remarkable thing? Before the decoration and the impossible imagination of it all, that we can sit here at this desk and breathe and function. Isn't that amazing in itself, Fergal?
No garden then?
We don't need the garden.
So what exactly are we sitting in?
What you see.
And do you honestly believe that I can just sit here in this?
Why not?
And talk about what, for Christ's sake? This floor, Jean?
Talk about us.
There is no us. Us is imagination. Us is turning this floor into grass, the lights into sky, the nothing into something. And you want to abandon it all and sit here in this silence and look at the floor and marvel at the floor's construction. Who cares about the fucking floor? This particular floor, I don't care about this
Perhaps I
floor.
care about the floor. Every little embellishment and you're further away from the truth. You start with some idea of love and suddenly you're caressing your silken tights in a baroque garden. I mean, why, Fergal?
Because I am a magician, a wordsmith. What is truth but some repellent, unctuous, poker-faced twat that tiptoes into story with all the grace of a juggernaut? Truth, that's your pornography right there, young lady.
Where do you live? When I arrive here in the mornings, you're already seated and waiting for me. Do you live in this house, Fergal?
What's important is where I live, in here. And you want to live in the world. Holy Christ. Let's have a cup of tea. We haven't had our tea
I
yet.
don't want tea.
A cup of tea will calm you down. It will settle you into the day.
A tea will trick me into thinking that everything is all right when it isn't all right. It's not even close to being all right for me. Not even close. Fuck.
I could give you a biscuit with your tea today.
When did we get biscuits?
I picked up a packet on the way here.
So you do come here every morning. Just like me.
Yes, of course I did.
Doesn't it preoccupy you? This futility.
Is it a cup of tea and a biscuit to be wanted, Jeannie? What? Isn't it the best feeling in the world, waking up knowing you're Irish? Do you know, you can throw all manner of shit at the Irish and we'll turn it into art. The Irish are unbeatable in that respect. We are masters of illusion, Jean. Had we the ability to truly connect with other races, you'd imagine the Irish could have a practical effect on the world. But the Irish are only ever comfortable in their own company. And the company of oneself is a powerful thing. To retreat and live in that isolation is to live in the community of total exhaustion and imagination, and not the community of fucking people. You have some sugar, pet.
One sugar.
I give you 2, you could do with 2. If I had 2 sugars, I'd be spitting my molars out on that desk, so I would. Have a biscuit, I got them special. Thank you, Fergal.
Thank you, Fergal.
So,
What?
into the garden.
I don't want to go.
Don't make me ask again! Don't you fucking dare!
And I can see you standing up from the fountain. The garden laid out in perfect symmetry between us. Nature ordered by mathematics and all beneath a canopy of blue. Your sky. Always your sky. I turn away from you and leave you with your frocked coat and ruffled sleeves and dreams of Cynthia and her great news. I push open a wooden door and onto a busy high street. The road chocked with red buses and frustrated cars and other people. I walk among them on the pavement and I'm busy just thinking about the amount of life and history there are in these people. The places they're going to go, the conversations they've yet to have, the expectation of an unknown day. And suddenly the chaos is working and I'm within it and part of the world again, Fergal. And there's no fear like before. No deep anxiety of time or place or my worth. No terrible desperation for order. No imagination wrapping me up or stealing me away in the pretend. I'm just walking to this house in Streatley Road, to this room here, and to you. I'm telling you it's morning time, Fergal. It's still morning, and the world is open out there.
How's the tea?
Irwin.
You'll get used to it. Take a Jammy Dodger.
I don't want a Johnny Dodger.
I got them specially.
I don't want to
Take
be-
one!
How did you buy the biscuits?
I picked them up on the way, went to the shop.
Before that.
Why?
I want to know other things, please.
I leave where I have to leave. I've no idea what that place is anymore. It's a room smaller than my hand. Someplace I close my eyes for an unknown amount of minutes. And get up then and shuffle down some stairs and push open a door clogged with post and autumn leaves. Step out into London. My body holds a memory and I let my legs take me to the bus stop. My head bowed now as always. And thinking about this house and this room and this desk and what you and me will make today. I take the bus I always take. I sit in the seat I always sit in. And I watch the bus fill with barely there people and their barely there lives. And they think I'm one of them, but inside I'm creating new ways of removing them from the world. Terrible ways. The bus stops and I watch you get on and stand where you always stand, Jean. And oh, what secrets we hold from the rest. I think back to the first day I brought you to this room. And we imagined things that day. And those things were made in front of us. And we got to live and to be in those worlds. Didn't we? And day after day we come here. And what colours, what unbelievable distances we travel to with just words. Just 26 letters at this desk. You step off the bus, and as always, I'm meters behind you. And you stop, as you always stop, just standing there on Kilburn High Road, suspended somehow. I move past you unseen, and this morning I can sense the doubt coming off you, the yearning to return to a life you think normal. As the bus pulls past you, Jean, I see it. I slip into the corner shop, get the biscuits, and quicken my stride to Streckley Road, where I wait, as I always wait, in this room. We're not made for this world, you and me. What can this world give us that our imaginations can't make better?
Biscuits. The world makes actual things. We trade in words, we make the pretend, we make nothing you can touch.
And to watch Cynthia turn. And to be allowed to be in that moment. When there are billions of moments that take seconds from your day and give you nothing. To be given this moment with her. And she turns to me. And the garden, each tiny detail of the garden blossoms or breathes or colours that bit brighter, maybe. And it certainly warms the air in the small distance between me and her. And covers completely the impossible loneliness of morning time, the terrible torture of another day to be lived, the glorious shame of not having the courage to give up on it all. That turn to me lights a forgotten spark inside it. It kicks my heart into life, stirs my head with the beginnings of possibilities. It covers the image of my abandoned hallway, my lonesome bus journeys, our pointless city. It covers everything there was. It offers everything there could be. And I am with the second now, as the second is, with no past and no future. Just of and in the moment. And what a wonderful place to be. With no yearning, no projection, just full of hope. Her great news could rescue me forever. It can shape a brand new me completely. But her walking to me is all I need. And I can be in the second. And I can be happy.
Window. Knickknacks. Song.
It's been raining for 2 weeks now, which would account for the dampness. Not that I could remember. I mean, how could I remember? Impossible to remember, but dampness is there. It's cause forgotten, but dampness is everywhere. My shoes on the parquet floor, and Mother's shoes are ahead of me. We're marching, me and her, the parquet floor, zigging and zagging down corridors. I understand my damp hands as fear, and I'm sort of crying. I had cried earlier in car, but since forgotten I was upset. In crying now, I remember the earlier tears, and remember today's primary feelings are fear, you see. Fear. Each salty tear a reminder, each clammy hand to put me back in my place. Mother's hard heels on the floor, anxious, marking out the seconds, alternating between her tight breath and the beat of her heels. Her tight breath, the clip-clop, my breath, the clip-clop. I'm 3 years old, and all talk is me and future and books and education, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited, because the truth is, I'm dead excited. I'm finally leaving behind a life that is somewhat lumping. Hey. A fine word, lumping. A single rhyme with pumpkin, love. For what are babies but lumps? Happy lumps granted, but lumping and sat still for much of the day, just like I am here now. Difference between me and babies is babies give in to life, whereas when I give in, it'll be to death. One cheery departure, one not so cheery. Although in honesty, which one is which, huh? Slight joke. No need for slight jokes when no one's laughing. Bastards. The clip-clop stops. She kneels down in front of me, she hugs me, she kisses me, she starts telling me to have a great day. But all this time, I am looking straight down my mother's blouse. I never had feelings like that for my mother. Feelings of lust. Lust, too strong, easy now. Lust. Feelings of... I know what I mean. Oh, quite frankly, she was never very affectionate to me anyway. This display in the classroom more so her doing the right thing than showing her love for me. Self-pity. Very attractive in an old man. Oh, very good. Very nice. I drop my school bag. I reach in and I grab my mother's breasts.
Oh.
It's an action that lasts all of a split second, and at first I'm amazed that I make contact so precisely, and that in my hands both titties weigh the exact same measure. This is my moment, beginning of my professional career. Well, before she belts me across the head and slaps away my hands, before my new classmates erupt into laughter, and so begins my journey of childhood ridicule and psychological torture. Not true, though interesting. Before any of that shite, it's just me with mother's titties in perfect sync. At that moment, I promised myself a life in engineering. I am ready. Ready for order.
I'm up out of bed and flinging myself through the house like a mad thing, like a rag doll, and downstairs dragging sweaty fingers down walls, into kitchen in a breakfast scene. Dozy chat mixing with pop music off radio, cornflakes crunching above the quiet dinner breakfast time, and all's deadly normal. For Dad's face. Dad's face. Crikey, he's been complaining about a headache for the past month. Last week, Mother caught him staring at the clouds, staring at the birds, and muttering to himself, "What chaos in the world, what terrible chaos." I saw him walking around town in dead straight lines, while all around the world going about the day-to-day business of accident and chance. Accident and chance, them two words churn in Dad's stomach. This morning, his eyes are stuck out of his face like they want to be rid of his head. Still sat in his gin jams, he pours out cornflakes onto the table and starts to count them out one by one. Sets cornflakes out into a neat square, and my brother starts to giggle. An orange square, and the disorder of the cornflakes are set to a pattern, you see. Well, step forward to dinner time. Still sat in his gin jams, and he has us whispering our words.
His dad owns chip shop in the village, and he works there on Saturdays. His mouth is open, you can see all his teeth smashed up from the thumping he got. The chip shop man has killed his only son. Cut out his tongue and smashed him up. gave me a free battered sausage once.
What time do you think it is?
I think I'll sit a while and listen to him talk inside of me.
That time.
I'll decide whether it's time to give him a name and be done with it all. I'll decide whether it's time to give him a name and be done with this life. Do I really mean what I say? Or have these words just completely got the run of me? Fuck it.
Just before going to the window, I torture myself with a little silence, which isn't very nice and a bit difficult, but nature calls for a pause, such as sleep. When sleep finally arrives, lazy bastard. You can't move forward unless you stop now and again, can you? Take stock, otherwise it'll just be moving willy-nilly. Take these little fellas. A constant polish just wears them out. Better to let dust settle. You can't be handling the knickknacks willy-nilly, can you? Give them a breath and it'll stand still. Take the face on that inquisitive one, right? Well aware he is in my next move, so why the questioning face? I've every right to wipe that look right off you, you little... Anyway, as much as I try for some silence, I seem to fall short on account of this talking. Right about now, I allow myself some action. Nothing in the world quite like a little action to get the blood racing. Window, window, window. Suddenly, possibility shows its happy head. Now look how I walk, sweetheart. My speed, lack of. Position of my head bent towards floor, my body a little tight and now it may look like constipation, but it is in fact anticipation. Hardly my greatest performance, but it's found me near in the window once again. Am I look a little hungry at first, for it is the window and not the deadness of the walls, warrants some joy. It does offer a perspective, definitely. What window doesn't? And dare I say, a bigger hope. Try to ignore these dodgy legs as they root me to this floor, raising the head to look towards and out of the window like a fat man acknowledging a meat supper. And there it is. That house on the mountain. Our two houses blinking over at each other, over the world that was there, that's enough. The sea, the silent road below. Small house, much like this house. Wooden panelled, same as this, very nice. Although I haven't seen the outside of this place in an age. It could be covered in another form for all I know. Ice cream wafers. Oh, hardly. I can sometimes see a figure sitting by the... I can imagine all sorts of life in that house. Lively chit-chat as the night grows closer. Music. I should have never burnt that piano. Other things could have been burnt. The bloody knickknacks, for example. What music do they give me but the daily inquisition, the daily reminder? The piano wasn't innocent. The day I arrived here, it was sat in the corner, all wise and full of history and loved ones, most certainly. I did try to play it for the first few months, but it was bloody murder. Felt like these sausage fingers were drumming out the death march. If it wasn't for the tape recorder, if it wasn't for your song, sweetheart, I might have felt like all music was 6 foot under. I'm getting ahead of myself now. No mention of the song before. Easy, easy, easy. That house. Come on. Come on. Such music there. Something lively now. Something that would give my veins a good drain and the floorboards a thump and a celebration for, well, not for anything in particular, but for the sake of a different life. Something... Can the word frivolous still be used despite everything? I don't see why not. Something frivolous is happening in that house. Something frivolous is happening. It was only the one figure I saw, mind. Now gone. I mustn't get too glum. Come on, Christ, we all know where glum gets me. A longer day for starters. I mean, I do have some fun times in here. It's hardly a holiday camp, granted, but we do have the odd giggle, don't we, sweetheart? Hey, do you remember that day when you were, and then I was, and before we knew it, it was all... It's too easy to wear out these glorious moments by the window. Enough then.
Look how they remind me. These funny children's shoes. All these years constantly following me. Reminding me. But I don't want sauce. I like them salty. Sauce is salty, you daft bugger. But they make my chips soggy like slugs. What's wrong with slugs? Are you being a naughty boy? My little heartbeat then, and him and me know what he's talking about. Find myself saying, Brown. The chip shop man fixes me with his look then, and covers my chips in that brown, tangy shite, and turning my chips to slugs. Him holding my chips now, and he's backing me into the wall, and joking about his son, who needed silencing the other day, who needed order like the boss man said, but stood up to his own dad, so kicked him, weren't he kicked him? I watched the chip shop man take to the street outside with his new power, and it's like he just sucks in all life about him. Him holding my chips up to the sky then, he fucks them against the shop window. It's his time. It's his time.
I'm sat in the living room listening to Father and the chip shop man. And Father's big idea, they talk. They talk about spreading the silence. How quiet and peaceful the village would be without words. How perfect the world without this chit-chat. Over a cup of tea, they talk about the naughty boy and how they sliced his tongue off. My timetable they give him and the routine that kept him. The routine making him. For a week, my timetable marking this boy's every breath till he stood up. So kicked in, weren't he? Kicked in! I look at Mum looking at Dad's bruised and bloody knuckles. Her too bashed down to talk up. The words stuck in her throat as she carves up the coffee cake. It starts. It begins.
Mother pulls me aside, click, clock, and tells me now's the time to grow up fast. She tells me not to be scared, but I am scared. Oh, don't be scared, love. I'm scared of the chip shop man. Smacks me across the face. And then she puts her hands up to her face and starts crying. Well, fuck this. I'm outside. Outside, 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 outside!
And just you and me alone in village, and I have a secret to tell.
Something's happening here.
It's my dad and the chip shop man, but only the bad ones will be silent, so don't be scared.
But I am scared. And through the woods then, and we pass where they found the boy's body. Instead of the body, someone has placed down a bunch of flowers. I bend down, I pick up a red carnation, and I hand it to you. A romantic gesture for a 6-year-old. Full hindsight, a jot morbid.
Take my hand then, and let's walk down to the river at the other end of woods.
The with each step another year and month passes. For 6 years I'm by your side.
6 years it passes with my dad and the chip shop man slicing the tons.
We talk about those who have been silenced already. We watch them walk about the village with their clipboards and stopwatches. They walk about in trenches the chip shop man has done. Like train tracks the trenches are, and stuck in pattern beside and shuffle along all funny looking. We laugh about the order they've been given. An alarm sounds and I see a man stood in front of a big house and he's meant to count every single brick. Another man behind this man, he's meant to count the time it takes the man to count the bricks. An alarm sounds and we see a woman in a field counting bees, counting birds, counting flies. Another man meant to measure all there is to be measured in the village. Another man behind this man, he's been measured time it takes the man to measure these things. An alarm sounds and I see a woman count every single bread for a single day till that be her marker for every day after that. An alarm sounds and...
We sit in our spot. Two 12-year-olds by the river's edge. We turn away from what the village has been turned into and we lose ourselves in our secret chat. Our talk all shapeless and trailing off to wherever words go to. Just talk nonsense talk, really. Type of talk that is my dad feeling sick. Talk ourselves stupid till we give into silence. In these moments by the river, we happily give into silence.
A kiss.
We kiss then lay down into autumn leaves you set up like a mattress. The little light about us, all jigsaw browns and golds, isn't it? All talk is gone with your easy breath in my stomach. The river sounds led by your breath. I sleep, lost in a dream of some happy house on a mountain. Those are my dreams back then. I'm sleeping.
That'll be my inside scheme, but whatever they say, it takes me by the second. I try to listen, but the talk is buried deep. Might I be able to hear soon? For now, I wonder the purpose of this tenant once again. Still. You asleep. The river sounds led by your breath. The currents whirring all easy. Ebbing sounds popping up and down. I turn and I look towards the river. I'm looking at the chip shop man. And he's standing beside your mother and he's pulling at her hair. Your mother's kneeling down the water and she's looking straight over at me. Those who have already been silenced are looking on the bank, looking all dumb with their clipboards and stopwatches. He takes a kitchen knife to her tongue. Blood all down her pinny. He grabs her head and he shoves it under the water. And your dad drags her out slowly like she's some wet puppy. Reborn, he says. All polite applause. Little applause. Your mother's looking over at me. Silent, looking over at us.
Right about this time, I remind myself to stay happy. Well, not happy. Don't be daft. What's the word? Oh, Christ, don't fail me. Imagine that nightmare. Each second passing and another word abandoned ship. Then where would I be? Stuck in Google words. The brain turned to slush in me the picture of old age. Little dribble outside the mouth and mumbling out the inane. Little dusty smells crawling out my backside unannounced. Shuffling across the line with all the speed of slugs. Actually, closer to that endless than I'd like to be. But right about this time, I remind myself to stay confident. Confident for what reason? Now, here's a question. The question. Because without confidence, bloody fear would gobble me up, and then where would I be? Where I would be would not be here looking over at that house and hoping for, well, it doesn't even matter what for, because hope's enough to go on, to survive by. Hope is definitely more than enough to survive by. I've made it that way, and I'm of an age to know nothing else. Into pity in that voice. But there's only the chance of hope and the fear for something marginally better than this existence. A moment of honesty. Honesty, stop talking, stop it! for an upside down. Not the song just yet, but the knickknacks. Many moons ago, I happened upon another purpose for these little fellas. A purpose a lot more creative than being the recipients of a good dusting every 15 minutes. I made a show for them. The story was such and such. I had an ending, but I threw it out. It didn't seem worthy of the start, but I did like it, though, and it grew on me. So then I got rid of the start, and I was left with an ending that seemed unsatisfactory now that it didn't have a beginning.
Oh my god.
So without an ending or a beginning, there was absolutely no reason to continue. But of course I did.
Of course.
But there will always be a reason, though for the life of me I can't remember what it was. Anyway, every day I take a minute out to wait for the knickknacks to begin from the middle. Free my mind of these stories and thoughts of madness and just wait. Nothing just yet. A little stage struck now, even, bless them. Still nothing quite yet. Still nothing. Nothing.
When did this body stop? When I say the body, I mean the legs, of course. The rest is still intact. Reasonably. But these chicken legs gave up the chase some time ago. Body's way of telling me to sit down and think things through, which I have been doing, thank you very much. Which has become my everything, this thinking things through. But why not just other thoughts? The here, the now, luxury. Or fussing about me and making tea. Of course, there was never any tea. Just us lost in our chit-chat, you know? Why not just these small things? I'll whisper so the shoes can't listen. Am I ready to give in? Am I ready to be silenced?
We're sat on the couch eating chips. Mother's in the corner. She stays towards the wall like a bad girl. Her hands shaking by her side and little snivelling noises out her silent gob. She's heard something from Dad in the chip shop, man. She knows why I've been sitting in our swimming togs and waiting this past hour. Me and my little brother eating the soggy chips and thinking about the swimming pool. Christ, it has to be the swimming pool. No other reason for this baggy swimming costume. Fuck it, if I can shed and skin the crotch that baggy. I'm a little undecent, to be honest. Little breasts like garden peas. I'm a right state.
Yes!
We're outside now with Dad marching behind us. I look at my little brother still juggling with the chips and brown sauce spitting out all over his belly, and he's dead excited because you love the swimming pool, don't you? Into your inflatable tortoise and you'll be in the pool till Christmas. Whenever that may be. My feet pinching on the road. We're walking over those trenches that are dug for the sailor homes. Father, the big engine, marching us down the street. Where would any of us be without order? What greatness the silence? What wonder the routine? Blah, 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 blah. We walk.
I'm walking by the chip shop now. His fat face telling me to get to pool, naughty boy, get to pool! He sits on the end of my bed then. Watches me get changed into my togs. The dirty fuck. Outside the swimming pool now, and all the children of the village, all 20 of us standing there in our togs. And what a state we are. Like a box of fish fingers, skin all bluey and white, arms wrapped around against cold. I'm stood beside some 14-year-old bloke, bursting out of his togs. Crikey. Spiky pubic hair. The very sight fills my belly with jealousy. Look at my own wretched sack. Bald but for a single hair, and sat in my briefs like some tiny canary egg. The shame. The bloody shame! It's these togs, isn't it? Togs that I've been wearing since I was 8 years old. Mother. Togs that have made my every journey to the swimming pool a living torture. Mother. I'm standing there clamped into these baby blue panties with shame shaping out a slug for a prick. Trap, 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 trap! You being marched up the high street, your dad marching behind, and your little brother, and he's covered in that brown sauce, and he looked like he shat himself. And well, he's laughing, but you know what's what.
Children all huddle together and you make some apology for your tight trunks, but I just smile and hold your hand.
A surprise then. My one and only gift to you.
What's this?
I made it for you last night, didn't I?
You can listen to it later in yours.
The tape recorder shoved the end speaker in the front room. It's proper good.
What do you mean there mightn't be a later?
Are you listening to me?
Take this tape and hide it in my baggy swimming costume. Keep it safe, this lovely tape, and hold your hand as we watch the men and women of the village gather about his faces full of fear. And listening to my dad droning on about spreading the silence. Droning on, droning on, droning on.
Tick tock, tick tock.
The chip shop man hoses us down all of a sudden. We're dropped to our knees and hands to our faces we're covered in petrol.
And that 14-year-old boy is dragged out. And what a little child. All of a sudden he looks like a little girlie standing there. Soaked in petrol, stood in front of his mum and dad with his little girlie cries. Boss man's words then. And telling his parents to take their tongues.
I'm watching my dad holding the lighter I bought him for Christmas. Watch the boys, mum and dad take each other's knives with tongues and their voices sing.
All is busy now with men and women trying to save their children. I look at my own mother, she stood beside the chip shop man. Knives passed quickly and tongues cut out. Blood and all is bits with words given over to tears and silence. I'm being dragged inside, and I can see you hide behind your mother's side. You're gone from me. You're gone. A breath. A pause. Inside is screaming just like the outside. Tongues are being taken just like the grown-ups were. Little children covered in blood tossed into the swimming pool. Your little brother in his inflatable tortoise bobbing around, covered in blood and looking dead. Boss man tells me I'll be saved. It's time to spread the good news from village to village. Look how these seconds are bullying me. Turning me on for fun. Finished. I'm finished.
What reason this telling, hey? What purpose all this detail? I'm hid under my mother's coat. We're sat at the edge of the woods with all the other women, all of them made silent and one by one taken to the woods. I'm seen by a man made silent some 6 years ago. I've seen him about the village with his clipboard and stopwatch, bringing a proper order to all things. He drags me away from mother. I want to bite through my tongue and be done with it all. Sharp bodies of old women thrown about the dead wood, still in my baggy swimsuit, my feet pinching or something on something or other. He opens my mouth, holds out my tongue with his knife. I can feel him inside my mouth and feel him drag at my hair, face pressed to ground and punching and fucking in equal measures. You know that sad scene? Turn my head in a deep daydream. Falling through clouds. It's a good feeling, and each cloud softer than the next, passing me from one to other, like a breath on me almost. The clouds soft on my skin, I fall. and through clouds and into blue and towards the world. And winds light as they pass me from one to other. Like a feather I am, and I fall slow. I look at the world as it comes to me and me to it. I can see the greens of our valley and the shape of the countryside. Even from here I can see our village, see the church and the woods. I fall, then into woods and through the leaves of beech trees and pass quietly from branch to branch. And arms take me. And I see that it's you. We fall onto that mattress you made from leaves, and I fold into lovely you, and I speak. I speak to you, sweetheart. Like I'm speaking to you now. I can see his gun by my side. That song then?
Here's a song. Let's try and learn these words, eh? I'll hold it near speaker. I checked the red egg guy, my that's all there is in back in that back with the red egg. With the back blue, they got way at the end. Would hurt back in that with the back blue. If you should have you get a mama, then troubles increase. Boy, it's up to First cheese, hits me. They hug you and kiss you back. Suddenly, can't stop thinking of a cup of tea. Not temptingly or anything, but a happy brew. Soak my brittle scheming insides and send me back to the land of the living. I remember my last cup. Are you listening to me? It was maybe a couple of weeks ago now, and I'm in the kitchen, and once again I'm chatting to you, hey? Kettle boiling, I wrap my hands around cup and remember the warmness of your skin when I handed you that tape that last day. You held my hand, remember? I'm telling you this and heading towards the window, out the house on that mountain, and the empty outside. No warning, really, so I'm a little surprised I look out the window, and it's like that empty outside jumps down my throat. Don't even hear the tea hit the floor. Cup! I tried talking to you, but maybe you're not listening to me anymore. I tried to look out the house on that mountain for a little hope, but I'm too shook. Because I'm looking at what were villages, at what was life in that road I helped build. And here I am with my future. Me forever shuffling about with these children's shoes on. The room forever my country. Tiny scratches on the floor marking out my daily routine, my yearly routine, my life's routine. Well, I'm away from the window fast, turn my chair and face the wall as I am now. Got this empty body whispering about that terrible thing I did and how it's my time. Can I allow our words to drown and die like that? Like me, with me. Either way, the words and I are fucked. The fight is lost in that road and sea waits for me. It's not a question of can I stop talking to you, love. I must give in.
Best turn that frown upside down. You allow Mr. Misery through our door and I'll be dust until Christmas.
Can I leave you alone and just give in? Again, these children's shoes pinching me. Oh, they know of their arrival soon, mocking me daily, the bastards!
For years I've passed this very same day just for moments like these. Today feeling different though. I need to know you're listening to me still. Are you?
Yes.
Let me finish to this point. Deep breath. I'll reach the end and find some strength for another day.
Continue for the final time then. Begin.
The ground all is underneath and deeper into the woods I run. Drop his gun by the river, I run. To where? To what plan? I can still taste that fucker in my mouth, so spit out. Still soreness all about, so quicken my speed. What thoughts? No thoughts. Run till I can't run no more. And night to day and back to night, and a shell in me I am. No tears yet. No fear even. No feelings of fear. Just this running. No feelings of being alive. Daylight merely switching me on and off for fun. And night to day and back to night, and night to day and back to night. My sharp breath, my heart pumping, my legs chewing up soil. Through forest and moorland and steep hills and flat to my speed. Through farm and meadow and wind for the bells, no match for me. I run. For days I run. My breath. The rhythm of the run offered me thoughts, and each one comes with pictures of your sweet face and me being pulled away from you. Each picture now is a little more, each yard away is a yard away from you. I stop with days of running behind. I'm stood in heather and bilberry, my legs all jelly and my face raw from the wind. Trying to place your kiss how it used to be. Try to hear your voice. Try to remember our words, but the wind unkind blows sweet remembered words to wherever words go to. Kiss your tape then. One little bit of you kept safe. Gone from me. For the first time I say those words. Are you listening? Are you listening to me?
4 boys taken from the pool with their voices saved. For what reason are we saved? Outside the pool and all his men met up. They carry out the man, you shot his balls, and he wasn't too happy when they fell out the end of his trousers. The boss man stood in the car shouting his big talk. What great clarity this silence! Men giving over to simple routine and finding a function for once. Nature giving an order. He's all talk about a new order. A road we must build. A road for the silent. A road that will cut through the countryside and carry us lucky ones to paradise. We march away then with the village left all bloody and empty. March with other villages in our sights. And night to day and back to night and night to day and back to night. Days turn to weeks. Little villages torn up and others are made silent. But for what reason do I still have my voice? The silent grow. The road. The road. The road. The road, and set to work. The road a constant, no pause for night even. And what freedom the road gives to my body. Shot to life I am. Is this my moment, the great engineer? Finally, my life given a purpose by this road. Now that you're gone from me, a direction through this road I build. My back stronger, arms shoveling faster than the other children, my legs marking up my new future with each step. And it's me in front of the other shouting just like the boss man does. My face no longer all frightened, fuck no. Now the little lapdog I am. The shifty little grin to the ship shop man. I kneel down in front, I take his pudgy hand and I kiss his pudgy hand. And is that a kind little pat on my head? Boss man dresses me to set me apart from the dumb. The road flat in the green, and with each yard travelled it's more him I am than me. Again. It's more him I am than me.
The walk takes me its own course. Funny little legs led by what-ifs, driven slower but no less easier. I'm looking for what? No answers, no questions to start. Just this aimless walking. I'm a child, our village long gone. I rest in some wood. What was your face? Is it months? Is it really months past since? Heart more numb than heavy. Breath for fear I'll blow up. A breath, a pause, a breath. The noise of a road being built in the distance behind. A boy running scared from his village tells me about the men with knives who come to bring order and spread routine. The road they're building towards paradise. Visions of my dad at that breakfast table, counting out those cornflakes, making that orange square. I asked the boy to speak of other things. I just closed my eyes and listened to those words returned. I asked him to make the small talk, and just listen to the ebb and flow of those smaller words as he talks of the small things. I talk too, and our words entwine, and it's like our old world is rebuilt somehow. The woods, a bubble, keeps his hidden world safe and away from that road being built. Eyes still closed, I take his face, and I kiss him. I look down at his funny black shoes with red laces. Despite it all, a hope found in those funny little shoes. A boy calls his name.
The road pulled up by some woods. I enter with the boss man. A naughty boy ran off from that last village and needs catching. The boss man behind and I search the boy out. I call his name. I know now why my voice has been saved. I call the boy out and soon he comes running towards me. He's all talk about another child that needs saving, a little girl he blabbers on about. I'm using my words to calm him. Using my words to lie to him. All this time, I can see the boss man through the trees with his eyes on us. That kitchen knife he placed into my hand, and to cut to silence, I push it far into the boy's mouth. Can't stare at his face, so look down at his little black shoes and red laces. Boss man tells me to put them on. Shoes fit for a Judas. And I am. And run. 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 Run.
And so begins my final run, and where to this run? The screams of that boy in the distance behind it again, the woods take me and me through them.
The woods through me I run. Away from that boy, away from that road I run, and through the woods.
The woods no more, and only this mountain to climb.
The higher I climb with that boy's face at every turn. The silence below and the road leading into the sea. The boss man watching and guiding and watching as the silent walk into the sea, their paradise. And surely there's safety in the skies. And your face, it guides me upwards, takes me to where safe.
In your face it guides me upwards and finds me in this house and keeps me safe. It comforts me, opens my day and closes my night.
And in this house, I lose myself in our past.
I speak to you daily, though you're not here and surely in the sea.
I can speak to you daily, though you were surely dead. Life passes and memory repeats.
Sat at table mixing meringues and looking at mother at the sink.
My little heart all aflutter, the parquet floor, and mother's breasts.
The shape of the town, the speckled lights and the gentle seasons passing.
The smell of mother's bedroom, her quilt, and my face lost in that bra.
The picture of the younger you standing at the cake table.
Bobbing about in my underpants, talking like my Auntie Etta and the younger you. The lovely you. The river sounds and the stillness of us,
Your arms about me and sleep and your warm breath on my back.
and our mattress made of leaves.
And our mattress made of leaves.
Are you listening to me?
And are you listening to me?
Am I the last to talk?
Surely I'm the last.
Can I leave these words and find proper sleep?
I am the last, and the words are much bigger than me. For words, they float.
I was up in the skies and spelt out in small words and join forever.
I'm alone here in this house. Though never quite alone. I pause, I feel fear. It subsides. The words they trap and yet keep me. They float and find their way upwards as I find mine. Are you still speaking? Can I sleep?
My insides are still now, and wait. The outside silent, the world that was there not a stir. My house here, that house on that mountain, the cupboard without tea, the children's shoes, the cold sea, the road, paradise. Life and death paused then, and wait for my answer. So what purpose my telling, and what purpose me? To speak. To speak.
I can sleep then.
I'm alone here in this house. Though never truly alone. Hey, love. I'll sleep. And in the morning I'll continue. And I will speak. And we will have a life. Yes.